Okay, I'm going to start, okay? But first I want to thank David Adams. He's not here. If you guys don't have him on your Facebook, please find him. He is a jewel for this state. He's the one that, I just had to make a phone call and he makes things happen. And he fights for some real good causes for our liberty. Please find him on Facebook. Join him. He already gave me the okay to say that, okay? Also want to thank John Kemper. He's not here. He ran for state auditor. He helped me make one of the pages. I also want to thank Sally O'Boyle. If you want, Sally O'Boyle runs a Free State project. We also have that on Facebook. She also was a great help, okay? Kathy Gornick, too, helped me a great deal. She's awesome. She just recently sold her business, a big business out in Lexington, and she'll be doing more liberty things for us. She'll get more involved. I just want to make sure I got everybody. Listen, I'm just going to tell you how this all happened. This started Wednesday. Wednesday morning I got up, I read my paper, I was in my computer reading the paper, and all of a sudden I see around 11 or 12, the Vice President Biden claims that the President is about to do an executive order if he doesn't get what he wants, okay? I couldn't handle that anymore.
What? To do what?
Executive order to pull our guns. Whatever it takes to get our guns, our clips, whatever, they're ready to do that. So this is how it happened. I drove over to the sheriff's office. I talked to him privately. I asked him, look, it's going to take but I need a favor. He asked me, what favor do you want? I said, you need a backbone to do this for me, though. Tell me what you want. And I said, I need a press release from you. And he didn't even think about it. It was like, yes, I'll do it. That's how it all happened. And look at this. We got all these together. Please look around you. All these people that you see around you, these are your friends now. Okay? Now you know who your friends are. They're here. Now I want to introduce you to this guy. He's the only sheriff in the country that made this move. I looked in the internet, tried to find somebody else. He's the only one that said, I had enough.
Sir,
and
could I interrupt you just a minute? There are several people in this room that don't know who you are.
I'm sorry. This is the first time I've done this. Yes. Gerardo Serrano, I live in Jackson County. Originally, I don't know if you can tell, I'm from Chicago. Sorry about that Obama thing. I didn't, no. It wasn't my fault, okay? So, I want to introduce you now to, is that okay? Are you satisfied?
Just need to know your name.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's my fault. So I just want to introduce you to Sheriff Peyman. Please give a warm welcome to him.
This is really exciting to me. I look and I see these kind of people, people that I see every day, and then other people I'm just meeting for the first time, but we all have the same thing at heart, and I appreciate that. If I get a little bit emotional today, don't let that bother you. It hasn't bothered anybody else. But this is something that's really dear to my heart. They asked me, I talked to a journalist yesterday, and he says, you're going to be up there, you're going to have notes, you're going to have papers, you're going to have what you're going to read off. He wanted to help me with what I'm supposed to say today. And I talked to him for a few minutes, and he goes, I can't help you. And I said, why is that? He says, because you're talking from your heart, and that's what the people need to hear. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to talk to you why I do the things that I do. And you'll understand me very well when you leave here today, and why we're all still going to have our guns here in Jackson County. But in the interviews and stuff that I did, yesterday, they talked about, the job of a sheriff. I'm responsible for the people inside this county. On the outside of this county, they're important to us, but I'm not responsible for them. Their sheriff is going to have to stand up and make his own decision as to what he's going to do for his people. And I looked, I couldn't justify if Obama passes this. It doesn't matter what he passes. The sheriff has more power than the federal people. They need to go back and study that. We're a commonwealth. I can ask the federal people to leave, they have to leave. I can ask state people to leave, they have to leave. What I'm saying is this is our home. I'm an elected official, the highest elected official. From this point on, it's appointed by a government. It's appointed by somebody else. But this is the only opportunity that the people have to speak for themselves as to this is what we want. And so I take that very, very personal. You know, they've entrusted it me to make a decision for them. And so it's easy to say, well, Denny, how are you going to, we're going to pull these guns? And I said, you're never going to pull a gun from Jackson County. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I could tell that the guy I was talking to was pretty much, he was a liberal, And so we got to talking, and I explained to him why. And I said, I live in the far end of the county, and I'm responsible for people that are on the other end of the county. Heisel is an area that's, it's real rural. There's not a lot of people around there, but those are our citizens that live there. And I said, it's funny. I said, they call me, early in the morning, hey, look, I've got this. I drive, it takes me an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get to that location. So what happens when my phone rings? I'm listening to an elderly person scared to death. They say, I'm in Heisel. There's somebody kicking at my front door talking about coming in here and killing me. And I say, stay on the phone, I'm coming your way. 45 minutes I get to listen to this guy, right? Would I rather have him have a cell phone in his hand or a firearm in his hand? Only thing I've ever told the people whenever I come when somebody's kicking and come in the front door, that's the only thing I ask, is I just have to listen to one side of the story. It's pretty easy. That person has no right to be coming through their front door at any hour, making demands, making threats, making anything. I can't get there quick enough to help those people. My best help to them is to let them keep their firearm. So that's how I can justify an elderly person keeping a firearm. I can justify a young person keeping a firearm. There's nobody I really don't understand that doesn't need to have one. Just like when we come into a group, I look at people and I know who packs and who doesn't pack. Some of them legally, some of them illegally. But that's their right. The Second Amendment makes that very clear. And our forefathers made that very clear. Otherwise, they would have been so high on the amendment. It would have been down the list someplace. But it was so important to them. And I look back today, and this is the part that's emotional to me, is I would be ashamed if one of them was in this room right now and having to listen to what we're having to talk about. I would be ashamed to have them sit here and listen to all the people that have given their lives for this right for us. And we just give it up so flippantly just because somebody says so. If we did everything as somebody says so, we would not be a country today just because somebody said so. Because we have a different kind of people here, people that are they're wanting to be independent. That's why we started our independence. An independent being able to carry a gun, that's an independent choice too. But the guy I was talking to yesterday, we talked for quite a bit, and I said, now that you've interviewed me, I want to interview you. He's okay. I said, tell me a little bit about yourself. And he says, well, this is, I've been doing this and this, and this. And I said, well, tell me about your family. He said, well, my wife's a school teacher. Your wife's a school teacher. I said, well, good. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, the phone rings, you pick up your phone, and you get on your phone, your wif's hysterical. She says, listen, you can hear firing in the background. And I says, you're talking to her. She says, honey, they're coming down the hallway. Somebody's got a gun. You can hear them going in there screaming. They're shooting kids in the classroom. How many times have we heard that already? Calling us to tell their loved one goodbye. So here it is that this has come down the hall. And after I listened, I laid out this scenario for him, and he got real quiet. I said, sir, what would you have? Would you rather have her have a cell phone in her hand, or would you have her be armed? I said, I'd rather her be armed. Armed people get to go home at night. She will get to go home that night and rest and sleep. He doesn't have to sleep in an empty bed. You know what I'm saying? The children get tucked in because they made a firearm. That's something we cannot give up. They've talked to me about everything from, they try to throw different things. Well, we might as well legalize hand grenades. Well, if that's what you need for personal protection, well, I guess that's what you need to do.
I like that.
It's all about what I can do for my community. I can't do it for the other counties. I can't stand up for them, but I can stand up for my people. And, I was one of the first people to say, I think they need to arm school teachers. Not all of them, but there's somebody that needs to have a weapon there. And they need to know, there's no honor for these guys that go in there and shoot up a classroom and kill somebody if, that guy got 20, and they big press deal, and he doesn't get to see it, but all these other people do, and they get the idea. What would happen to the first 2 or 3 that tried that and got shot coming in the front door? They wouldn't do that anymore. it would be taken from them. There's no glory in that for them, which they look at that as glory. We need to start just eliminating these things as they come up. And the first thing we need to eliminate is not to take that freedom from us. But that is so important to us because it gives us our freedom. And so that's kind of what we talked about. In Jackson County, as long as I'm sheriff here, I've got children, I've got family, I've got friends, I got everybody here. And I feel a whole lot better knowing when I come into a room, if everybody's packing, than if I'm the only one, you know. Because they take me out first, and that means they're going to take out everybody else too. But as long as they don't know who's got what, it makes it pretty even grounds for everybody. So, but I'm open for any questions, anything anybody would want to know. Yes?
Well, I just wanted to point out the difference, or let you speak to it, the Virginia Tech shooting where 30 people died versus the West Virginia campus shooting. I don't know if you even know about that because it really didn't make the news because only one person died. If you do know about it, if you could speak to it.
Yeah. No, I didn't hear about the other one.
You didn't hear about the other one. It was a West Virginia, it was a university, and a gunman came on campus, and I think he shot one person, and then he was subdued by 2 other armed students. They didn't shoot him. Nobody else died. It wasn't violent, but they were able to confront him. And what bothers me is that the whole nation knows about Virginia Tech, where 30 people died because nobody on campus had a firearm, but nobody knows about all the things that don't happen when people are legally armed. Well, that's what sells papers. You know, everybody wants to see that kind of stuff. They don't want to hear that it was ended. You know, they don't want to hear that, but families do. But also, there was no big tragedy to report because the tragedy didn't happen. Right. There should be just as much saying that this didn't happen because there was something that was taken care of earlier. Yes, sir.
If you had a message for the other sheriffs, what would it be?
They better get on board.
Yes.
Because if they're not going to stand up for their people at that level, what level? Where do you draw the line? You know, where do you draw the line as a sheriff, saying, "Well, I'm going to protect them up to this point, but if it means taking away their weapons," and just like I came up with a deal, I was thinking I was going to put this on Facebook, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to wait and share that tomorrow morning. But if I could, you know, talk to I was writing the president a letter. I said, you know, the president gets up every morning. He has anywhere from 35 to 50 armed men and women around him. His family, his children go to school with somebody with a weapon. His wife goes shopping. All these things, and there's all these people around him all the time that were there to protect him. And I kind of thought about that for a little bit, and I kind of thought, you know, I have it so much better. I was going to write the letter back, and I says, you know, you're protected by the Secret Service. And I said, you know, I'm a sheriff of Jackson County, and we have 15,000 people that live here. And I says, I get up every morning and I go out, and I says, I've got 5,000 people, and they're called citizens that pack. You know, if I'm on the side of the road and I'm having a problem with somebody, I just assume somebody come up that's packing, you know, to help me, help protect me. When the kids go to school, we've got armed citizens that are protecting them. We're as well protected or better protected. I like my odds better than what his are. He's got 50, I've got 5,000. And if I'm not going to take away that, I mean, my family, my friends are as important as his are. There's no difference there. And so I just soon keep my people armed to protect me. He's got his choices, I got mine. I just soon put all you guys with a weapon to protect me than what he has. So, is there any other questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You'll be next.
You know, the right to keep and bear arms is part of our Constitution. It's been an issue, gun control has been an issue for generations. So far, they've never been successful. What I hear when I talk to people around the area,